Suddenly they hear some sounds, and when Chen Luo looks carefully, he is shocked to see a whole group of rats. Chen Luo asks everyone to run as fast as they could. The horde of rats is rapidly approaching Chen Luo and the others directly. When Chen Luo and Sudhaju are trying to run, Dharma is trying to stop the horde of rats. Seeing this, Chen Luo asks Dharma to take care of his own safety. So Dharma also runs with them. Surprisingly, a slightly mutated rat appears, and upon seeing the humans, it becomes excited, considering them delicious food. It jumps towards Chen Luo for an attack, expressing its desire to see how they could escape. Due to the sudden attack, Chen Luo falls to the ground. Seeing this, Sudhaju helps him up and expresses his belief that they are now doomed. Chen Luo, realizing the severity of the situation, asks Sudhaju not to hesitate and to attack the rats. Somehow, they were able to fight off the smaller rats together, with the help of electricity wiping out the rats. However, Chen Luo was tensed about the Rat King, as it was clearly a mutant. Surprisingly, the Rat King was also smiling as it watched them. Chen Luo shared that whether survivors, zombies, or creatures, all combat abilities will grow slowly, but there will always be individual mutants who will overdraw their life potential and make their strength skyrocket. Chen Luo then wonders that even though they grow stronger, their longevity decreases. He even shouts at his destiny, feeling unlucky to encounter one so early. While fighting with the small rats, Sudhaju falls to the ground. Seeing Sudhaju fall, the Rat King thinks it's the best time to attack. Sudhaju tries to use a baton, but the Rat King throws it away, deeming it useless. Then the Rat King starts a continuous attack on Sudhaju's armor. As the armor reaches its limit, Sudhaju gets tense, realizing that just one more attack from the Rat King could puncture it. Chen Luo rushes over and shouts for Sudhaju to watch out. He explains that the Rat King is at least level 3 or 4, so he has no choice but to use normal methods as he can't kill it in such a short amount of time. Chen Luo uses some food to distract the rats with it and wonders that if he hadn't broken through to rank 2 last night, all of them would have definitely died in the basement. On the other hand, seeing Chen Luo with the baton, the Rat King wonders if Chen Luo's electric baton would hurt him or not. If it does, then he plans to first bite off Chen Luo, and then bite off Sudhaju. The twist was that the thing the Rat King was understanding as a baton wasn't actually a baton. It was Chen Luo coming with the Void Sword, hoping that the Rat King would be killed by it, as it was his last hope. The moment the Rat King realizes that it's a Void Sword, he gets tensed and wants to run. Seeing this, Chen Luo smiles and asks the Rat King whether he wants to run away, telling him to stop daydreaming. Upon defeating the Rat King, Chen Luo finds a core crystal inside the Rat King, bigger than the others, and feels happy about it. After that, he tells Sudhaju that he thinks the 2 front fangs of the Rat King are pretty good, so it should be easy to make them into a weapon in the future. Chen Luo admits that he wasn't strong enough, so Sudhaju should try pulling it out. Sudhaju agrees with Chen Luo and asks him to move aside and let him try. After struggling for a while, Sudhaju somehow manages to take out 1 fang. Chen Luo praises Sudhaju, saying it wasn't bad, and then suggests they go further into the basement. The scene shifts to some time later, where Chen Luo is storing the grains. Seeing this, Sudhaju is amazed and asks how big Chen Luo's void space is. Chen Luo responds that it isn't as big as the grain storage. After storing everything, Chen Luo approaches Sudhaju and tells him that Sudhaju can't tell anyone about the stocked resources. Chen Luo emphasizes once again that no matter what happens, Sudhaju must remember not to tell anyone. Sudhaju assures Chen Luo not to worry, saying he understands and that even if he were beaten to death, he wouldn't reveal the secret. Suddenly, the lights go out in their surroundings. Sudhaju asks why it suddenly became darker. Chen Luo responds that it should be a blackout, and they should quickly finish what they came there for and go back. The scene shifts to some time later, when they all reach back at Chen Luo's home. Chen Luo says that the fight against the Rat King was too dangerous, so he thinks they should stay at home and become stronger first. He also shares that judging by the speed he absorbs crystals, it would take 2 or 3 days to reach rank 3. So in these 3 days, if anyone gets bored, they could play games and watch movies. Sudhaju responds that he got it, and he has no problem with it. Chen Luo happily agrees, saying, okay, so now it's decided they should go and eat. The scene then shifts to 3 days later, where Chen Luo tells Dharma that it would be good for him to learn how to wash the bowls. Hearing this, Dharma gets tense, hoping that Chen Luo won't be too harsh on him. Chen Luo then shares that he had been training for 3 days, which was quite tiring, and asks Dharma if he reached level 2 last night. Dharma happily responds with a yes. Chen Luo then shares that there's a saying that if someone wants to get stronger, that person needs to train. So he suggests that Dharma should go and find zombies to check if he could train and use new lightning skills. Dharma got a little bit sad and was slowly going to open the door, but suddenly he got stopped by Chen Luo. Hearing this, Dharma got happy, wondering whether Chen Luo was stopping him because he knows that Chen Luo was worried about him, or if Chen Luo was at least going to tell him to take note of his safety. To his shock, Chen Luo arrives with 2 bags of garbage, asking Dharma to throw them out. Dharma, hearing this, gets furious and says that Chen Luo is really a bastard and doesn't understand him as a dog at all. So Dharma takes the garbage furiously, showing his anger. Seeing this, Chen Luo rechen that it's an immature act, as when Dharma can clean, throw rubbish, and handle all chores, then he would be a matured dog. As of yet, Dharma didn't know how to take initiative to do tasks without Chen Luo ordering him to do so. Even Sudhaju, witnessing the incident, thinks that Dharma is pitiful. After that, Chen Luo thinks that he really needs Mayu now so she could take care of their daily life. He then remembers that Mayu lives in a nearby 5-star hotel staff dormitory. So Chen Luo decides that when he becomes level 3, he will go find Mayu. At night, Chen Luo's mind suddenly gets a shock. Upon waking up, he realizes that it took him half a month to break through in his past life. But in this life, he became a rank 3 ability user in only 3 days. He even thinks that Dharma should be happy that he followed him, so he wouldn't get sneakily attacked by him. Chen Luo also notes that the duration of the Void Sword increased from 5 seconds to 20 seconds. Finally, he can go out now. Chen Luo decides that in the morning, they will go to find Mayu and then bring back the core crystals. The next day, near the hotel staff dormitory, Chen Luo is fighting with zombies while Sudhaju somehow finds the dormitory. Seeing the sound from outside, a person emerges from inside the dormitory and asks Chen Luo and Sudhaju to save him. His name is Liu Wenbo, and he was a waiter in that 5-star hotel. Chen Luo is happy to see Liu, as finally, after killing zombies for half an hour, he sees someone alive. Without wasting time, Chen Luo directly asks Liu if he saw Mayu. The scene shifts to Mayu, who is being beaten by a girl named Lin Lie. The problem arises because Lin wants Mayu to leave the place, but Mayu isn't agreeing, as she also wants to live there. She asserts that she is also a living person who needs space. Lin Lie gets angry over Mayu's refusal, so she pulls Mayu in anger. A man named Lilan, the business tycoon, arrives and interrupts them. He expresses concern that the remaining vegetables may not be enough for all of them to survive. He warns that if Mayu doesn't listen, then they should throw her out. Lin Lie agrees with Lilan, stating that Mayu was disobedient, so they should throw her out. The hotel manager, named Harry, tells Mayu that as she can see, they don't have enough space, so for the sake of everyone, they can only sacrifice her. Harry calmly asks Mayu to go by herself and find some other place to hide. Mayu tensely asks if Harry is joking, pointing out that outside is fully filled with zombies, and she questions how she could escape from that. But before she could do anything, the guards start taking her to throw her out of the room. While being dragged away, Mayu says that she knows Harry was clearly asking her to go and die. In response, Harry furiously shouts at Mayu to stop murmuring and just get lost. Mayu gets thrown out of the room. Afterward, Lin Lie says that it's the consequence of someone refusing her. The zombies start coming towards Mayu. At that moment, Mayu makes herself understand that she has to hold herself back and not cry to avoid giving them a reason to laugh. She realizes that she is so angry that she's willing to pay any price to find someone to help her kill the group of bastards. Suddenly, the zombies attack her, and Mayu feels pity for herself as she now doesn't have any chance for taking revenge. Out of nowhere, Chen Luo arrives and saves Mayu from those zombies. Mayu tries to thank Chen Luo, but Chen Luo puts his hand on her mouth, asking her to be quiet. He tells her that after he and Sudhaju clean up the mess, they will talk. Chen Luo praises Dharma for defeating that boy alone and easily. Slowly, Sudhaju and Chen Luo wiped out all the zombies in the surroundings. Seeing Chen Luo and Sudhaju clearing the zombies, Lin Lie became happy as she was finally saved after hanging on for 5 days. When the zombies were defeated, Lin Lie and the others came out. Lin Lie thanked Chen Luo and Sudhaju for saving them and introduced herself as Lin Lie. But deep down, Lin Lie was hoping that Chen Luo and Sudhaju would become her fans. Chen Luo ignored Lin Lie and asked Mayu what was going on and if she needed his help with anything. Mayu then started crying and recounted what had happened to her from the beginning to the end. Finally, she cried even harder, saying that she shouldn't have saved them. So basically, in the beginning, Mayu saved them and provided a space for them to live, but now they were all ganging up against her. Chen Luo, upon hearing this, got a little frustrated and rechen that this was why being kind was hard. To Chen Luo's surprise, Lilan approached him and asked if Chen Luo could send him back home safely. Then, Lilan offered Chen Luo a job at his company after the crisis was resolved, with a monthly salary of 2 lakhs. Hearing this, Sudhaju furiously asks Lilan what he would do if he were rich. Out of nowhere, he hits Lilan with a powerful punch, saying that he hates people who betray others' kindness the most. Seeing this, Liu got shocked and wondered how brave both Chen Luo and Sudhaju were, considering that all those people were big shots. Liu was surprised that they weren't afraid of the potential revenge from those individuals. After receiving the punch, Lilan calmly and slowly acknowledged that he understood they were letting out their anger for what they did to their friend. So, Lilin once again offered them to help him safely return home, and in return, they could mention any condition they wanted. Hearing this, Chen Luo became furious, believing it was pity for all of them. He explained that he followed one principle. If someone was his enemy, he wouldn't let those guys off when he had the chance to eliminate them. Chen Luo then opens his coat to retrieve something and assures Lilin and the others not to worry, stating that even though they offended his friend, he wouldn't kill them. Chen Luo smiles and shares that he would tie all of them up, leaving their fate, whether they live or die, solely to chance. Lilin furiously responds, stating that it was no different from killing, and questions how both Chen Luo and Sudaju could be so ruthless. Sudaju counters by asking if they all had forgotten this issue when they abandoned Mayu, even though she was in a zombie-like state. Linlier sits on the ground in front of Chen Luo and starts pleading with him to save her, offering to do anything for her survival. Seeing this, Chen Luo notices that Linlier is willing to offer her body to survive. He responds by telling her to get lost, saying she is too dirty. Sudaju starts tying them up, and as Linlier is being bound, she mentions that she hasn't taken a shower for a few days, so it's unavoidable that she's dirty. But she asks if he could help her wash her body. Finally, Chen Luo and Sudaju put a paper ball in everyone's mouth so they couldn't shout. After leaving the dormitory while they were on their way back, Liu came running towards them and expressed his desire to follow them. Chen Luo asks Liu why he thinks he is worth allowing to follow them. In response, Liu hesitates to reply. But before he can articulate his thoughts clearly, Chen Luo offers him a baseball bat and challenges him to kill 10 zombies with it. Chen Luo explains that if Liu is able to accomplish this task, then he would be deemed worthy of following them. Without hesitation, Liu denies Chen Luo's offer, stating that he wouldn't dare to fight zombies with a baseball bat. Chen Luo smiles and thinks to himself that he had already given Liu a chance, but Liu didn't treasure it. Chen Luo informs Liu that he wouldn't let him join the team, but he could offer him some benefits. Chen Luo tells Liu that he is giving him 3 minutes to shop freely, after which he would escort him back to the dormitory as a thank you. Without wasting any time, Liu runs towards the hotel to gather things for himself. While Liu goes to gather essential items, Chen Luo talks to Mayu, expressing that they lack logistics and no one is cooking, so he thought of her. He assures her that instead of washing dishes and pots, he would prefer to fight zombies and guarantees her personal safety. He also promises not to treat her badly, so encountering him was the luckiest thing in her life. Lastly, Chen Luo asks Mayu for her response, if she was willing to go back with him. Without hesitating, Mayu responds with a yes, as she is willing to join. Chen Luo happily welcomes her to the team and tells her that after sending Liu home, they will go back and celebrate with a feast. However, he also tells Mayu that it's obvious she will have to cook for all of them. Mayu's eyes light up, and she responds with an okay. The scene then shifts to night at Chen Luo's home, where Chen Luo is discussing his and Sudhaju's powers. He then asks Mayu if she has felt anything in the past few days, if she has awakened her ability yet. Mayu responds that on the 3rd day, she did have a headache, but she didn't know what her ability is because she had been starving, so she didn't pay attention to it. Chen Luo, upon hearing this, shares that an ability awakened on the 3rd day isn't necessarily good or bad, it's just average. He then asks Mayu to listen to him carefully as now she had to feel the power inside her body slowly. When Mayu tries to feel it, fire arises from her hand. Seeing this, both of them are stunned. Chen Luo is stunned but happy to see that Mayu has a fire ability, as fire ability users can make cooked food even better and more delicious. The scene then shifts to 1.5 hours later, where we see many types of food served in front of Sudhaju and Chen Luo. They are impressed by the food and very happy, so Chen Luo suggests they start eating without delay. While eating, they feel like they are in heaven because the taste and deliciousness of the food are so good. They feel that finding Mayu was the right thing for them. Now Chen Luo doesn't need to wash dishes anymore. At night, Chen Luo asks Mayu not to rush as he would be showing her to her own room. While showing her the room, Chen Luo asks her to go in and see if she needs anything. She could tell him. He also told her that she could take a shower if she wanted, but she should be careful not to let any water enter her mouth. Chen Luo then asks if she lost her phone, right? So he gives her a phone and a portable charger, telling her that there are movies and novels on the phone that she can read and watch when she is bored. Seeing Chen Luo doing so many things, Mayu is impressed and blushes at the gesture. Chen Luo again shares that they will not go out for the next few days, as they will stay at home and upgrade their abilities. He tells Mayu that he will inform her about the specific upgrade method later. She happily goes into her room, thanking Chen Luo. More days pass, and the scene shifts to the present day where Chen Luo is happy that he has fully reached rank 3. According to the speed, if he wants to reach rank 4, it would take some more days. Chen Luo then decides to go out and gather some more core crystals, and he also resolves to find the sisters, Myling and Millie. He wonders whether the sisters have experienced the suffering of the apocalypse during the past 10 days. Chen Luo realizes that it's not the right time to help them yet, but he decides to keep an eye on them to prevent others from getting their hands on them. He does this because he believes that since it's a revival spell, people with such abilities should belong only to him. Otherwise, it could lead to trouble. Before going out, Chen Luo has a meeting with everyone, during which he tells Mayu that he and Sudhaju will leave to collect crystal cores. He instructs her that when they are not at home, no matter who comes, she should not open the door. Chen Luo emphasizes to Mayu that even if someone were to die in front of her, she cannot open the door. He instructs her to close the door and windows, not to look outside, and not to go outside under any circumstances, warning her that she would face the consequences herself if she did. Mayu assures Chen Luo not to worry, as she understands. The scene then shifts to some time later, where Chen Luo and Sudhaju are fighting with zombies. Chen Luo asks Sudhaju how many core crystals they have collected. Sudhaju responds that they have collected around 500. Chen Luo decides to call it a day for collecting crystals since they have enough. Afterward, he suggests that they should check on the Mi sisters, as he remembers they live in the area ahead. Chen Luo asks Sudhaju to go back on the truck first, as he would bring Lightning King Dharma for a stroll and finish off the remaining ones. Sudhaju happily agrees with it. The scene then shifts to some time later, where Chen Luo reaches the Mi sisters' house and shares with Dharma that he remembers the sisters live on the 3rd floor in room 201. Chen Luo asks Dharma to go and check if there is someone in room 201. To Chen Luo's surprise, Dharma responds with a yes and gets happy, as finally Chen Luo is assigning something that should be done by a doctor. Suddenly, Dharma starts running towards the bushes and begins fighting with someone, catching Chen Luo off guard. Chen Luo was continuously shouting for Dharma to come back. Surprisingly, he sees a cat coming out from the bushes, realizing that Dharma was actually chasing a cat. Chen Luo feels pity for the cat and considers taking her as a pet. Dharma, however, is biting the cat, so Chen Luo tensely asks him not to harm her. To Chen Luo's shock, the cat also speaks, telling him to tell the stupid dog to let her go. Hearing the cat speak, Chen Luo is stunned and wonders if the cat has acquired the ability of telepathy. He gets excited upon realizing this and decides to make her his own pet. Chen Luo asks Dharma to leave, expressing his dismay at how rough Dharma was being with the cat. Despite Chen Luo's intervention, Dharma continues to stare at him strangely, prompting Chen Luo to go and separate them. After separating them, Chen Luo shouts at Dharma, who makes a weird face, accepting that it's his fault. As Chen Luo holds the cat, she tells him that she didn't provoke Dharma, nor did she attack him, yet the dog bit her, which was unfair. Chen Luo responds with a yes, agreeing that the dog's behavior was bad. Suddenly, the cat sniffs something and confusingly asks Chen Luo if he has dried fish, as she thinks he does. Chen Luo is shocked to hear this and wonders how the cat knows, whether it's her intuition or something else. Still, Chen Luo thinks that he shouldn't mind her eating it, as after eating his things, she would be his cat. Suddenly, a girl's voice comes from above, asking for her rice. When Chen Luo looks up, he is surprised to see that it's Millie. Chen Luo realizes that the cat's name is Rice, and it belongs to Millie. However, he wonders why he had not seen the cat in his previous life, and why the sisters never mentioned her before. While Chen Luo is lost in thought, Millie comes down and asks Chen Luo to give back her cat. Chen Luo smiles, thinking that it was still worth it coming to her place. Millie snatches her cat from Chen Luo's hand and apologizes to Rice for something. Seeing this, Chen Luo thinks that it looks like the two sisters didn't stay together because if Milling were there, she definitely wouldn't let Millie come out alone. Millie says goodbye to Chen Luo and starts to leave. But surprisingly, the cat starts acting strangely, telling Millie to let her go because Chen Luo had dried fish and he wasn't a bad person. Somehow, the cat manages to free herself from Millie's lap. Rice goes towards Chen Luo and tells him that she hasn't eaten dried fish for a week already, so please give her some. At that moment, Chen Luo wonders what to do, debating whether he should use the chance to persuade the younger sister, Millie, to join him. Chen Luo lifts Rice up and tells her that the Super Chinjianane definitely has dried fish, and he will take her there. Then, Chen Luo tries to ask Millie why they don't cooperate and search for resources together. Millie hesitates in answering him, but Rice asks her to accept it, as she can feel that Chen Luo doesn't have any bad intentions, and they can trust him. Millie is still hesitating, and seeing this, Rice furiously tells her not to agree and to stay alone at home, as she will go with Chen Luo. Rice even pulls Millie, saying that she was still the same and should wait for her to bring the food home. Hearing this, Millie feels ashamed and responds with a no, saying it was nothing like that. Lastly, Millie agrees and tells Chen Luo that she will go with them, but they have to wait as she has to get something. After a few minutes, Millie comes back wearing a helmet and holding a wooden rolling pin in her hand. Millie tells Chen Luo that she's ready, but gets shocked to see Sudhaju and asks Chen Luo who he is. Chen Luo responds that Sudhaju is his buddy, and according to the game, Sudhaju is equivalent to a warrior. Chen Luo even introduces Dharma, explaining that the dog is a lightning king and can use lightning strikes. Hearing this, Millie is surprised that a dog could use lightning and realizes that not only Rice has a special ability, but other animals do as well. Chenluo then introduces himself as Chenluo, explaining that his ability is equal to that of a void magician. After the introduction, Chenluo asks about Millie. Millie responds that Chenluo should know about Rice's ability, as Rice can communicate with people. Millie then introduces herself as Millie, explaining that her ability is equivalent to that of a priest. Suddenly, Rice shouts that there are zombies coming towards them. Chenluo asks Millie to be careful, to which Millie responds that she can buff them with strength. So Millie uses her ability, and Chenluo feels amazed, as even though Millie was only at level 1, his power increased by 1/3. However, as fate would have it, Sudaju is fighting, and Chenluo is left wondering about the ability. Due to his distraction, Chenluo wasn't paying attention to the zombies, allowing one to dodge him and go for attacking King Millie. Chenluo quickly reacts, asking her to move back and let him handle the situation. To Chenluo's surprise, Millie responds with a no, stating that she doesn't need his help because she hasn't fought any zombies before. She sees it as an opportunity to train her combat skills, as she knows she will have to face it sooner or later. Chenluo was impressed because Millie seemed weak on the outside, but was strong on the inside. No wonder she survived until the end. However, Chenluo knew that the power of the rolling pin was limited against zombies, so he asked Sudaju to pass the iron rod to Millie. While passing the rod, Sudaju shared that he knew she could do it. After holding the iron rod, Millie tried to make herself believe that she could do it and that she didn't need to be afraid. At the moment a zombie put its hand on her, she hit it with the rod. Even after the zombie was defeated, she kept hitting it. Seeing this, Chenluo became tense and wanted to tell Millie that the zombie was already dead. However, to boost her self-confidence, he remained silent. After defeating the zombie, Millie even vomited at the sight of its dead body. Chenluo praised her and gave her a water bottle to help her feel better. Millie responded with a, "Thanks." Meanwhile, the cat, Rice, was angry and wondering why they were wasting time instead of searching for dried fish. The scene then shifted to some time later on the second floor of the mall, where Chenluo and the others were fighting zombies. After they finished fighting, Chenluo asked Millie to get a bag and fill it with whatever she wanted, as much as she could. Millie responded with an okay. Rice also came near Chenluo and asked for help opening a packet of packed fish. Chenluo wondered why he felt that the cat's abilities should be more than just mental power, as a special ability like telepathy cannot typically be mastered so early in the apocalypse. So he thought of somehow adding the cat to his team. Then, Chenluo told Rice to eat less of the packed fish because he had fresh ones as well. He also told Rice to come back later, as he would cook him a braised fish at that time. Hearing this, Rice got happy and started celebrating, saying that she would definitely come with him. On the other hand, while Millie was filling her bag with food, she didn't notice that a mutated zombie was coming toward her. But Dharma was quick to sense the presence of the zombie and started barking to alert everyone. Hearing the bark, Millie turned around and was shocked to see the mutated zombie behind her. She tried to retreat, but her feet got stuck in something, and she was unable to move from that spot, with danger looming over her. Even the zombie, upon seeing Millie, became happy because he had been hungry for some time and now had something to eat. Millie threw something towards the mutant zombie to distract it. After distracting the zombie, she tried to run, but accidentally bumped into Chenluo. Chenluo had actually come there to see her, but upon seeing the mutant zombie, he was surprised. Seeing the zombie, he remembered that from its appearance, it was a devourer, which he had seen many times in his past life. He shared that devourers had strong strength and defense, and they could also use charge and self-destruct abilities. Chenluo interpreted that, judging by its size, the devourer was of level 3. He asked Millie not to get scared and to stay behind him for her own safety. Chenluo began preparing his void sword, but before he could finish, Dharma used a lightning strike on the devourer. Distracted by the attack, Chenluo seized the opportunity and without hesitation, slashed the devourer with his void sword. With one swift slash, the devourer was destroyed. Afterward, Chenluo stood in front of Millie, urging her not to look as the corpse was quite disgusting. Trembling with fear, Millie held him tightly and marveled at how Chenluo had obliterated the mutated monster in a single strike. This made her think of Chenluo as very handsome and cool. Seeing Millie so scared, Chenluo asked her to hold his hand as he led her out of the area. After a few seconds, when they were safely outside, Chenluo told Millie that they had reached their destination and that she could open her eyes. Seeing Chenluo in front of her, Millie couldn't help but blush, thinking that he looked so smart and handsome. She wondered why she hadn't noticed it until now. Chenluo, on the other hand, became flustered upon seeing her reaction. At that moment, Chenluo was pondering that he never thought the appearance of a devourer would assist him in the classic hero saves the beauty scenario, but it was still effective. Seizing the opportunity, he asked Millie if they could form a team together so they could take care of each other. With Chenluo so close, Millie was blushing with embarrassment, and without thinking, She responded with a yes. Chenluo then suggested that since they had gathered resources, they could go back and eat together. To Chenluo's surprise, Millie apologized and explained that she couldn't come because she had to go home and wait for her elder sister, Miling. If Miling came home and saw that she wasn't there, Miling would start panicking and get worried about her. So Millie asked why Chenluo didn't go back first, as she would wait for her sister and then go home. Hearing this, Rice reacted frustratedly, questioning why Millie had rejected the idea. Rice suggested that Millie could leave a note at home so that Miling wouldn't get worried if she saw it. Rice also mentioned that she had a feeling Miling wouldn't come back today. Chenluo added that he would make braised fish for them. Rice gave an ultimatum, insisting that Millie had to go no matter what because she wanted to eat that braised fish. Hearing Rice's insistence, Millie became confused and wondered what to do. However, upon Rice's insistence, Millie agreed to go to Chenluo's home. So Millie asked Chenluo if his place wasn't far away, to which Chenluo happily responded that she was right. It wasn't far. The scene then shifted to Chenluo's home, where Millie and Rice were stunned to see the delicious foods served in front of them. Millie even praised Chenluo, saying that it was her first time visiting his house, yet he had prepared a fabulous meal for them. Chenluo responded that it was completely fine because they were companions, and he asked her to eat quickly. While eating, Millie got tears of happiness as the fish was much tastier than she had anticipated. After Millie finished the meal, she thanked Chenluo for the meal and then apologized, explaining that she had to get back home because she was scared that her sister Miling would panic if she didn't see her at home. Chenluo then expressed concern, saying he thought it was very late at night and it would be dangerous for her to stay home alone. He smiled and shared that it didn't matter where he would stay. Chenluo asked Millie what she thought about Sudaju, himself and Mayu staying at her home. He mentioned that he also wanted to meet her sister, Miling. Chenluo even suggested another idea, mentioning that there were many unoccupied houses beside hers, so they could move there, allowing everyone to take care of each other. Millie responded with an okay and even tried to correct Chenluo's mistake by saying that it wasn't just about taking care of each other, but rather it was Chenluo's one-sided effort to take care of them. Chenluo happily responded with an okay as the decision was made. He announced to everyone in the room that they should pack their bags because they were moving to another place. The scene then shifted to some time later when Chenluo and the others reached Millie's house. Chenluo asked everyone to be careful once they got off the truck. After they disembarked, Millie hesitantly asked Chenluo why everyone couldn't stay together at her home, mentioning that her house had 4 bedrooms and 1 living room, so it would be great if everyone could stay together. She hesitated at last, thinking and asking if everyone would feel comfortable staying at her home. Chenluo smiled, but deep down, he was also happy because Millie had given him a chance to protect her. After some time, at dinner time, Chenluo was distributing watermelon to everyone. When he offered it to Millie, she started wondering about him. Despite the dangers outside, Chenluo was protecting her and not only letting her eat delicious food but also giving her light and her favorite watermelon when the power was out. Suddenly, to everyone's surprise, Millie jumped towards Chenluo and hugged him, expressing that meeting him and her elder sister was the luckiest thing for her. Even Chenluo got flustered by the hug because Millie's charm was so high that he couldn't help but feel overwhelmed. Millie even shared that they should be friends from that moment forward, and helping each other was what they should do, so there was no need to be so polite to her. At that moment, Chenluo felt pity for himself because such a cute girl was with him, but he couldn't do anything as it was his first day meeting her, so he couldn't rush, otherwise his true intentions would be revealed. Chenluo smiled and asked Millie if she was sure she didn't want to eat the watermelon he had in his hand before hugging him. Hearing this, she backed away from the hug, feeling embarrassed and not responding. Chenluo then asked Millie how they were all going to stay. Millie shared that Mayu could stay in the room whenever her friends came for a party, and for Sudhaju, she offered her sister's study room, telling him he could sleep there after setting up the bed. Lastly, she told Chenluo that he could stay in her sister's room. Hearing this, Chenluo was stunned and wondered where Miling would stay when she came back. However, for the time being, he decided not to think too much about it, and agreed to stay first. Chenluo then handed some crystals to Millie, telling her that he would help her understand how to use them. He explained the process to her and then asked if she understood. Millie, looking confused, responded with a hesitant yes. Chenluo then asked her to go back to her room and try it out, as he was going to rest. Millie agreed, wishing Chenluo a good night. However, to Chenluo's surprise, when he opened the door to his room and entered, he was shocked to see Rice inside, asking him why he came back so late. Even Rice got close to Chenluo and started acting like a cat, telling him that she would sleep with him that night and with Millie the next night. Chenluo was happy and began playing with her, knowing that cats enjoy playing with their owners. He told Rice that she was a naughty cat, so he would pamper her for the night, but she had to sleep with Millie next. Rice responded with an okay. In the morning, the scene shifts to somewhere else, where zombies were being attacked by someone with fire abilities. Here, new characters are introduced, 2 boys and Myling, the elder sister of Millie. The boys' names were Zhang Zhen and Wang Xinwu. They were both classmates of Miling. While fighting zombies, they were getting scared and asked Miling why she didn't fight the zombies instead of them. Hearing this, Miling got furious, wondering if they would stop hiding behind her back or not. When more zombies approached, they got scared and hid behind Miling for safety. Miling tried to fight them off, but after a while she realized that using the fire ability was draining too much energy. Even though she had become rank 2, she couldn't continuously fight the zombies. The scene then shifted to sometime later at Millie's home, where Miling came back and was meeting with Millie. Chenlo was happy to see Miling back, and witnessing the sisters' reunion in front of him made him enjoy the moment. Suddenly, Chenluo saw Zhang and Wang and wondered who those two guys were. On the other hand, Zhang and Wang were discussing with each other in a secretive manner. Zhang mentioned that Miling was the campus beauty, but Millie wasn't any worse than her sister Miling, so they were right to accompany Miling. Wang agreed with his points, suggesting that if they could get both girls interested in them, then it would be very awesome. After which, they looked at Chen Luo and wondered who he was. Wang asks Zhang why that boy is with Millie. Off, Zhang responds that he wasn't sure because he didn't think that Miling had an older or younger brother. On the other side, Miling also confusingly asks Millie about Chen Luo. Millie then introduced Chen Luo, as when Miling wasn't there for her care, Chen Luo took care of her. Miling responds that she got it and was thinking that Millie was looking fine, as it seems that Millie had been well taken care of. On the other hand, Wang thought that Miling was hard to interact with since her younger sister was also good-looking. Zhang also wonders if he should change the target from Miling to Millie and take her down first. So Zhang got in front with a packet of bread and told Millie that he knew she was hungry, so she should take that packet of bread. Seeing this, Wang got tensed and took out a sausage, saying that Millie didn't need to be polite with them, and offered her a sausage for eating. Zhang got furious over Wang and was wondering whether Wang was planning to have a hard time after this. Millie got tensed by their sudden offers of food and told them sorry, as she wasn't hungry, so they could keep their food. Chen Luo was also smiling, thinking that those two kids were mad as their intentions were too obvious. So Chen Luo asks them why they both don't go up first and catch up with old times later. Millie also agreed with Chen Luo and asked Miling to go back home as it wasn't safe for them to stay on the road. Miling, hearing it, thought that she was very dumb to find those two burdens, and she couldn't let them continue being burdens for her and her sister, so it would be nice as they could have a break-up meal. So she also agreed with Millie and Chen Luo about going back home. Hearing this made Zhang happy, as finally his cohabitation life with Campus Beauty will begin now. And Wang also got happy thinking that if he and Miling lived together, wouldn't they become closer and his plan would succeed? Both were fully wondering about just being with Miling, as they weren't paying attention to that. They were just being a burden on her by not fighting and getting their respect down in the eyes of Miling. Miling asks Millie whether there was food at their home. Hearing this, Chen Luo wonders that, of course, they had food until they followed him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had to dream about it. So Chen Luo came up and asked Mayu whether they had some rice to eat. If yes, cook some. At that time, he was thinking that since Miling was Mill's sister, not giving her anything to eat wouldn't be polite. On the other hand, Mayu got confused and wondered if they weren't going to prepare barbecue. Upon getting inside, Zhang tells Chen Luo that it's tough to live for everyone at a time like that, but he's still raising a dog. Wang also agreed with Zhang, saying that he just heard Chen Luo say that they only have some rice. So if it's all eaten, what are they going to do? Hearing this, Dharma got furious as he heard that they were both dreaming about eating him. Seeing Dharma like that, Zhang tensely shouts that the dog is so fierce and asks what the dog hurts. Mealing, so they must cook him and eat it. Wang also shows bravery by saying that they should leave that work to him and just get ready to eat that dog's meat. Off, Chen Luo told them that it was enough of them and that they didn't have enough food to feed the dogs. But soon Chen Luo makes a sarcastic comment, saying that, by a dog, he means both of them, so they get lost. Hearing it, Zhang got furious and asked Chen Luo to watch his words to see if he had ever fought with a zombie before. Off, to which Chen Luo responds with a no. Zhang, hearing it, smiles and describes Chen Luo as a coward who only dares to hide at home. Zhang then goes to Miling and asks if she knows they followed her, suffering a lot, and she even knows how dangerous it was all the way. Zhang also asks, Miling knows how hard it is for a human to live. But still, Chen Luo feeds his dog food. Wasn't it a waste of food? Wang also shouts and asks that they staved all along the way, so shouldn't they be the ones to eat it? Zhang clarified that they weren't eating all of it, as everyone could eat together. Miling got angry hearing their shut and asked them to be quiet, as they thought she didn't know why they followed her or how much they had done. Hearing this, Zhang and Wang both get furious and ask Miling to wait, as they will regret it messing with them. At that time, Chen Luo pats Dharma and asks him to kill them. Otherwise, he has to handle their corpses. Dharma was happy as he was waiting for such an order, so he told Chen Luo to leave everything to him. Miling saw Dharma going towards Zhang, and Wang got confused about why the dog was following them and whether he was seeking death. After that debate, Mayu came to Chen Luo and told him that it wasn't any problem. As if she were cooking now, it would take at least an hour. Chen Luo responded that it was fine. She should slowly finish dish by dish. Then Chen Luo asks Mili to get in the room, as he has something to talk to her about. Mili responded with an okay, as she was coming. Seeing this, Miling got tensed and wondered if a man and woman were entering the same room. Mysteriously, what on earth was Chen Luo going to do with Mil? Inside the room, Chen Luo takes Mili near the wall, makes her stand against the wall in a romantic pose, and asks her if she is now worried about food and drinks after following him. Millie was feeling embarrassed in that position and was blushing, but still, she responded with a yes. Chen Luo again asks that being together with him, she feels safe and not scared, right? She again responds with a yes. Chen Luo then goes more closely and asks that because she was good, listened to him, and was capable, he treats her well. But what about her sister, Miling? Whether Miling would listen to him or not. Hearing this, Millie wonders that Miling always had her own opinion and also that she wasn't familiar with Chen Luo, so there was a high probability that she wouldn't listen to him. Chen Luo then asks Millie what she thinks about him and her sister, who could lead everyone better. Without any hesitation, Millie responds that, of course, it was him, which Chen Luo that they must do. Hearing this, she got tense and asked what they must do. At that time, Chen Luo thought that it would be very evil to say that to train Miling until she listened. Chen Luo said that they should let Miling obey him and treat him as a captain. Otherwise, during critical movements, he and her sister would get into arguments, which would be troublesome. Chen Luo again asks whether she got it or not. Millie responds that she got it, as she must have let Miling listen to him. Chen Luo then told Miling that before Miling obeyed him, he would not share any resources with her, so Miling could only watch them eat together. And when Miling listened to him, then they would give food to her. He even asks her to remember that they were doing it for Miling's sake. Millie agreed because it was for her sister's good. On the other side, in the kitchen Luo, seeing so many vegetables, Miling asks Mayu why she has taken so many things, how many dishes she is going to prepare, and whether Mayu isn't caring about the future. Hearing this, Miling understood and was told that she thought it was wasteful to talk to her, so she was going to talk directly with Chen Luo. Miling asks Chen Luo to tell Mayu to make fewer dishes as if they were all today. What would they eat the next day? Chen Luo responds that it was the day of Mili and her reunion, and if Mili was happy, then they must celebrate. Miling was still against it, even though making so much food was very luxurious. Chen Luo told her that it was his problem and not hers, so she didn't need to feel tension. At that time, Miling wonders if it was her fault that she ate too quickly. Although she still wants to eat, her stomach wouldn't be able to eat much more. Even though she thought that there were so many dishes, they definitely couldn't finish eating them all. Still, she was impressed by the smell of the dish. The scene then shifted to 1 hour later, when food was ready, and Mayu was serving it on the dining table. At that time, Miling noticed that there were a total of 5 members, but still, there were 4 bottles, and he wondered, could it be that there weren't enough? So she decided that she wouldn't drink the bottle and just eat dishes and drink soup. When Mayu served completely, she told everyone that they could do it, so everyone sits on their respective chairs. But to Miling's surprise, Chen Luo asks her, why did she sit down on the chair? Hearing that, she angrily asks, wasn't it the same place where she sits always? Mili was feeling bad, and deep down she was asking for sorry, but she thought that Chen Luo was a nice person, so for the future, Miling had to bear it. Chen Luo told me that they were going to it and asked that it wasn't appreciated for her to sit, right? He acts stone-hearted and tells Miling that if she wants to watch them eat, she can sit down near them. Hearing that, Miling was stunned and confusedly asked, why did he mean that she didn't have her share? Miling also asks, didn't he say that the meal was for the reunion of her and Mil? Chen Luo responds that he didn't promise to let her join them for dinner, as except for her, everyone was on his side, as he would only let people on his side eat delicacies that he risked his life to obtain. He then asks Mili if she is on his side. Off, Miling shared with Miling that she was on Chen Luo's side. Chen Luo then asks Sudaju and Mayu about their choices. Sudaju told Chen Luo that no matter what, he would always accompany her. And Mayu shares that, from the moment he saved her, her whole life belonged to him. Dharma also barks for saying that he was on his master's side. And the cat named Rice also told me that, with so many delicious foods, she would always be by Chen Luo's side. Chen Luo then asks Miling to see, as around the whole table everyone was on his side, so he was willing to share everything with them. But who was Miling, as he thinks Miling wasn't qualified to eat with them? Unless she would also listen to him and join his side, then she could eat with them. Miling, hearing all that, got furious and asked if he wanted to ridicule her with just a meal. She then stood up, hitting her hand on the table, asking Chen Luo not to go overboard. Miling then told him that she wouldn't eat it as she doesn't eat food that easily. But Miling was thinking that it was just a meal, and Chen Luo was trying to ridicule her. So Miling gets aside and stands there, near them. While she was standing there, Chen Luo started praising Mayu for the chicken, as it was very delicious. He also asks Melito try the spicy crab, as it tastes great. Mili thanks him for that. After that, Chen Luo gives the braised fish rice, saying that it was the dried, fragrant fish she requested from him. Miling got frustrated hearing all that about food and told Mili that she was going into her room. But Miling got pissed off when she saw Chen Luo's underwear in her room. Miling furiously shouts over Mili, as Mili was so nice that she let that bastard Chen Luo live in her sister's room. So Mili came running towards Miling's room and asked, sorry that she forgot to tell her that while she was away, Chen Luo temporarily stayed in her room. Mili also asks Miling not to worry, as Chen Luo is a gentleman, so she promises that he won't mess up her room. Miling responded with an okay just because he took care of her, so she would let Chen Luo live in her room. Mili then told Chen Luo that Miling could take a shower. She just didn't let water enter her mouth, and if she felt unreformable, she could simply rinse for a while. Miling responds that she got it, so now Mili could go back. Miling then goes for a bath, and while bathing, she thinks that she feels like a loner, as even her sister is with someone instead of her just for delicious food. She also wonders how many things could be kept inside a small fridge, and lastly, she thinks of making Chen Luo see who takes the last laugh. After bathing, when Miling was wearing clothes, she heard Chen Luo asking everyone why they didn't eat some fruits, like grapes. Hearing this, she got pissed off, as out of so many fruits, why were they all eating her favorite fruit, grapes? Miling started getting cravings for grapes, but somehow she made herself rigid against it, thinking that it was the apocalypse, so the grapes must be the frozen ones. They were not fresh or tasty, and she wasn't hungry at all. Miling then comes out of the room and calls Mili. Seeing Miling Chen Luo, he was amazed and was praising her beauty, as even she made him have dirty thoughts for her. Miling came to ask Melito come with her to her room, as she had to talk with Mil. While Mili was going, Chen Luo asked her to come back quickly as the grapes were too sweet, so he would save some grapes for her. Also, Chen Luo said that when eating grapes, no one spits out the grape skin, and when not eating grapes, it spits out the grape skin. Chen Luo was saying that to attract Miling towards him for eating grapes, and she was even having fun doing that, but Miling knows that Chen Luo was doing it on purpose, due to which she was getting frustrated with him. In the room, Miling pushed Mili onto the bed, held her hand tightly, and asked whether Mili hadn't gotten so bold as she was teaming up with a stranger to get on her sister's nerves. Miling then started tickling and asked Mili to speak about what was going on and why Mili didn't help her at the dining table. Mili started laughing due to tickling and asked Miling to stop, as she would tell everything. Mili then told me that they had become a team with mutual understanding, and to prevent any disagreement during critical moments, everyone agreed that Chen Luo should be their captain. She continues to say that Chen Luo was afraid that Miling wouldn't listen to him, so he purposely did that to her. Mili also told her that even though he shared this thing with her beforehand, she thought it was reasonable. Hearing all this, Miling got tensed and asked whether Miling got brainwashed. Miling furiously said that if Chen Luo showed sufficient combat ability, she would naturally listen to him, but he used such a lowly, cowardly method instead. Miling then laughs and asks Mili, did Chen Luo think he could use a meal to make her join his side? Mili tensely asks what Miling plans to do, as it wouldn't be good if she continued to go against Chen Luo. Miling responds that if Chen Luo wants her to listen to him, then he must show strong combat ability, and she would fight against him and see who was going to have the last laugh. Miling then got ready and started getting outside. Seeing which Mili tensely asks, where was Miling going? Off. Miling responds that she didn't dare to eat someone's thing as she naturally needed to go out to the district to search for food and drinks. Mili tried to stop Miling, saying that it was too late and that Miling encountered a danger. But Miling wasn't hearing, so Mili asked Chen Luo if her sister was going out, to please persuade her. First, Chen Luo asks for a sorry from Mili if he doesn't have any miserable reasons to stop her sister, but if Mili is worried, she could let Rice go with her. As with Rice, Miling could get alerted to any danger in advance. Hearing which Rice was during that wasn't being with Chen Luo was good. Why was Miling so willful? Even Chen Luo asks Dharma to follow Miling, off which Dharma gets annoyed as he doesn't want to go outside on such a hot day. Seeing that Chen Luo is sending the pets, Mili asks whether she could also go to help her sister. Chen Luo responds that she can of course go, but she has to take note of her safety and even asks Melito take a baton with her. While everyone went, Chen Luo was wondering why he shouldn't use such a way to deal with Miling. Chen Luo then remembers past lives, as in past lives. Miling always shouted at him for stealing vegetables and even beat him for that. So that's why, because of Miling kicking his butt in his past life, Chen Luo was taking revenge, which wasn't overboard at all. But soon he thinks that it wasn't good, as he had too quickly made Miling join his side. The scene then shifted to 10 minutes later, when Miling came back and shared that she had braised beef cup noodles and 2 eggs for the night, even though it wasn't as great as someone's meal, but she was satisfied. Hearing this, Chen Luo laughs and thinks that the people who don't know would think that there was beef inside the beef cup noodles. So that means Miling was using that cup as a gimmick for food. Chen Luo then calls Mayu and says that he also wants to eat beef cup noodles, so be prepared for that. Mayu responds with an okay. Chen Luo was doing that to make her pissed off by showing what truly beef noodles look like. Chen Luo then goes to Miling and tells her not to be so fragile, and let's talk. Miling got ready for the talk. When they start chatting, Chen Luo first asks for forgiveness, saying he had overdone it in the afternoon. Hearing that, Miling asks whether Chen Luo came up with new tricks and why he was doing all that. Chen Luo said that his apology was sincere, as he didn't overdo it in the afternoon, but before she could acknowledge her captain's position, he wouldn't be sharing food with her. Chen Luo himself shares that a captain position person must not lack combat ability and strategy, so he would prove to her, no matter which category, that he completely overpowers her. He then said that first of all, they should go for combat ability, and asked, why don't fight after 3 days, and if he lost, he would listen to her. Hearing that, Miling got happy and asked to confirm whether he was serious and meant that or not. Chen Luo responds with a yes. So Miling got ready but asked why, after 3 days, they couldn't fight at the present time. Chen Luo told her that he couldn't control his ability well for the time being, so he was worried that he might badly hurt her. But actually, Chen Luo was doing that because after 2 to 3 days, he would reach rank 4 and could grasp his ability better. Chen Luo then tries to make fun of Miling by telling her not to mention to him that she couldn't even defeat Lightning King. Hearing this, Miling got furious and asked what nonsense Chen Luo was saying, as he thought she couldn't even beat a dog. Chen Luo told her that it was fine. He got that she was stronger than Dharma, the Lightning King. Miling was frustrated because she was thinking that Chen Luo was humiliating and making fun of her. Suddenly, they saw that Dharma was growling and barking against the door. An aunt was living in the neighborhood of her sister's home. Auntie's name was Maya. Maya was knocking at the door and asking whether Millie and Miling were inside. Maya again told them that she came to see them and was begging them to please give her something to eat, as she hadn't eaten anything for 2 days. So please give anything. Off. Miling asks Maya, who said she hadn't eaten for 2 days, which means she ate things 2 days ago. Chen Luo got tense to see Miling answer Maya so naturally, so Miling asks Maya to get lost, as she also doesn't have food. Millie came near Miling and was going to ask Miling about showing pity on Aunt Maya. But Miling asks Milito remember that no matter how much food they give Auntie Maya, she will finish eating it in 1 day. And if Maya finished eating, what if Maya came back to find them again? Do they need to give or not, even though it was hard enough for them to survive? Chen Luo hearing it got him happy and praises Miling, but Miling asks him to shut up, as she would see 3 days later that from where he would get that confidence. Chen Luo responds with an okay. Suddenly Rice came and started hugging Chen Luo, and when Chen Luo looked, Rice told her that she felt Aunt Maya had a hostile intention. So Chen Luo takes her up in arms, hugging Rice, and tells her that he knows. Chen Luo also said that no matter what reason made them have hostile intentions, if they all dared to come, then they would all die. The scene shifted towards Aunt Maya's side, where Maya was getting down the stairs, saying that she had no idea Miling was so vicious, and so she was so angry at those sisters. Next, it shows that Maya was going towards boys. The boys ask whether she checked it or not and whether Miling was at home or not. Maya responded that Miling was at home as she just talked with her, and Miling was also at home as she was just going in and out with 2 boys. Everyone was happy hearing it, and one boy said that if Miling wasn't alive, it would be a waste. Another boy told me that every time he needed to take medicine to look up, but when he saw Miling, he no longer needed to take medicine to look up. They then start praising her body shape and figure, saying that enjoying Miling was worth dying for. It didn't look like a good thing, as everyone thought it wasn't looking great for the sisters, as it's clear that they want to do romance with both sisters. Lastly, they decided that they couldn't wait anymore, and so they thought of charging at their house and making both girls hostile. Even Aunt Maya was in favor of it, saying that from the start she hated those sisters. Aunt Maya got so devilish and lowly that she asked the boys to torture both sisters after they finished their romance. When they all came in front of their house, Sudaju was watching from the window and shared with Chen Luo that Aunt Maya came back with boys with weapons in their hands, and it wasn't looking good at all. Chen Luo, hearing it, decided to kill them, so he told Sudaju to go and wipe them, but remembered that everyone should not die in the corridor, otherwise they had to clean up the mess. Sudaju responded with an okay, and was getting ready with his weapon. Mili by herself came and told him that she would give some to Sudaju. Sudaju shared that he would come back quickly and go outside. After him, Dharma also barks, as he was also coming with him. While Sudaju and Dharma went to fight, everyone was watching them from above. At that time, surprisingly, Myling saw Chen Luo from so close and realized that Chen Luo was very handsome. Then she hopes to see that both Sudaju and Chen Luo will be strong. Downwards on the street, those boys got so happy seeing only a man and a dog as their enemies that now they could also have some dog food for dinner. Suddenly, Sudaju started attacking, upon which they panicked. But they all tried to attack all together on Sudaju altogether, and were shocked to see that Sudaju was unscathed at all. They understood that Sudaju had awakened his ability. Even seeing Dharma using lightning, now they are all at backup and realize their deaths in front of them. After the boys and Aunt Maya got defeated, Chen Luo asked Melito go and dig out those people's crystals from between their eyebrows. She got a tense hearing and clarified whether he was asking her. Chen Luo responds that in the future, she needs to do it, so it's better for her to practice it from now on. Even Myling supported Chen Luo in this topic, because she also wanted Melito get experience. Chen Luo then gave a knife to Meili and asked her to go freely, as he would by himself accompany her. Meili was tensed, as now her sister and Chen Luo were teaming up against her. She even tries to pursue Dharma for help, but he denies it. So lastly, Meili had to do it by herself. Even she vomited in that process. But Chen Luo was happy to share that she would get used to it, so no need to worry. After that, they all go for dinner, and seeing beef noodles, Myling is shocked that beef noodles could be eaten like that. Chen Luo offers the food to Mil, but she denies it, saying that she doesn't have an appetite. Myling was frustrated that even she couldn't eat at her sister's place. Similarly, the next day in the morning and afternoon, seeing them eating so much food made me frustrated and wonder how this much food could be stored in their fridge. In the night, Myling lost her patience and went to check the fridge and was stunned that it was full again. She furiously came and asked Chen Luo about the food, and then Meili shared about Chen Luo's ability. Hearing that Myling is getting angry over her sister for not telling her early. But still, Myling again makes Chen Luo remember their duel in 2 days. Actually, Myling was dreaming of defeating Chen Luo, after which she would use him as a servant for food. On the other side, Chen Luo thought that he should get Tank 4 soon to increase his combat ability. So at the time of sleeping, he thought of using Rat King Crystal as the level 1 zombie's crystal wasn't working enough. The moment he absorbed Rat King's crystal, his head had a weird type of hurt. Seeing his reaction, Rice got scared and wondered whether Chen Luo was alright. After some minutes, Chen Luo was happy as he finally reached rank 4. He gave the leftover crystal of the Rat King to Rice so she could use it to upgrade. Chen Luo then goes to try his new ability, and so he directly spawns in the hall. The sudden arrival of Chen Luo made Dharma startled, due to which he started barking very loudly. Chen Luo asks Dharma not to take tension as if it were him. Dharma also got pissed off as he was guarding the door, even though Chen Luo scared him off. But due to that bark, Myling wakes up and asks Chen Luo whether he purposely made Dharma bark to make her lose her sleep. Chen Luo laughs at Myling as she thinks too highly of herself. He then told Myling that they would fight after eating. Hearing this, I was surprised as the days hadn't been completed. Myling then confirms the bet, of which Chen Luo asks to add more to it, as at a distance of 20 meters, he would convince her in 3 seconds that she lost, and if he couldn't do that, she would be considered the winner. Myling was shocked and asked if he was looking down on her. He thought that once the fight started, she would back off, so Chen Luo could never win. She then asks about the prize. Chen Luo, with a weird smile, told me that it's very simple. She just needs to stick out her ass and let him kick once. Myling finds it very weird, but still she gets ready with the rule that she would do the same upon winning. The scene then shifted outside, where they were both ready to fight and others were spectating them. The moment the fight started, Myling was happy, as she was overconfident that Chen Luo couldn't defeat her in 3 seconds. Surprisingly, she saw that Chen Luo had disappeared from the front, and to her shock, he came and held her from behind using his void space. Myling found that she couldn't move herself due to his lock. So finally, Myling lost herself, realizing that if Chen Luo had a knife in her, she would be dead for sure. After that, she was wondering about the bet, but to her surprise, Chen Luo asked her to let go and eat with them. He also asks for forgiveness for what he did 2 days ago, but now, being comrades, they should know each other. After that, they all ate together, and even Myling was impressed with their behavior. Chen Luo was also happy that, without any accident, he made his comrade. Lastly, Chen Luo asks that if everyone's dinner is done, then they should be in the living room to discuss their future plans. Chen Luo starts talking as the zombies are getting stronger, so they also need to stick together and work together as a unit against them. Also, the resources were getting hard to get at a time like that, so they should also focus on the trend for survivors. As the trend was of surviving in groups, even their team's combat ability was high, and if they won against a horde of zombies, there were definitely going to be some injuries to them, which he couldn't accept. Chen Luo then picks up the topic of joining another team, so it would be like he was going to be inferior in front of someone, which he couldn't afford. Also, if they get into a group, what if other people start asking Millie and Mealing to accompany them to sleep? Mealing furiously responds that she would kill those who have dirty thoughts about them. Chen Luo then gives the idea of making sub-teams to create a big team. Mealy and Sudhaju found that idea great and were ready to do it. Chen Luo then told me that in the city center, people used to hide in shrubs to be safe from zombies. So according to her judgment, there would be a gathering place in the suburbs with many people. Mealing was impressed hearing it and praised Chen Luo, saying that what he said was very reasonable, and even she couldn't think that far. Hearing this, Chen Luo thought that Mealing was convinced, so he wondered whether it was time for him to get what she promised. Even Chen Luo was hoping for Mealing to break her promise so he could kick her more than once in her whole life. But he knows that kicking in front of everyone would be inappropriate. Chen Luo then ends the meeting, saying that they didn't need to rush and asking Mealing to come to his room as he had to talk about something in detail. Mealing confusingly asks why, to which Chen Luo replies that it is a private matter. Mealing understood that it was about their bet, and she couldn't deny her promise. Mealing in the room stands quietly and asks Chen Luo to kick off. Chen Luo asks whether she had any misunderstandings about sticking her ass out or whether she was bad at academics. Mealing hearing it, it wonders why Chen Luo was so serious about punishment and asks Chen Luo, who couldn't help but change the punishment, adding a kick in the ass as it's fine if it's not overboard. Chen Luo denies it and asks directly whether she is going to fulfill her promise or not. Even getting pissed off, Smiling needs to stick her ass out for letting Chen Luo kick it. Chen Luo was also happy as it was seen, and he could never have imagined that the future war god Fire Fairy would stand in front of him like that. Chen Luo then starts taking out his shoe, seeing which Mealing wonders whether he's going to kick her ruthlessly. She even told Chen Luo to not wait, as she would count to 10, and if he didn't do that, he would never ask again. So Chen Luo wonders whether it was right to kick her ass, as he feels that if he kicks her ass, he's going to be single for his entire life. The time left was only 2 seconds, so without thinking, he slapped her buttocks with his hands. Mealing got embarrassed and asked why he used his hands. Off which Chen Luo asks sorry as he forgot and asks to let him kick again. Mealing in anger goes close to Chen Luo, pinches her hand and shares that if he dares to tell anyone, he is going to be killed by her. He then told her that he was going to ask Mayu to cook some of her favorite dishes as a celebration of her joining the team. First, Mealing shows anger over him, but later realizes that it is strange because he never asks about her favorite food and thinks it would be possible for Millie to tell her. Ming then eats happily and thanks Chen Luo for taking care of Millie. Chen Luo asks her not to worry, as it is something he should do. He then told everyone that he had an announcement. Chen Luo then shares that for the supplies, survivors could rummage, so for their safety, they need to go back to his mansion. And also that if anyone was good, they could recruit. The next day, while driving home, Chen Luo was wondering about Mealing and other training, when suddenly he heard someone shouting a name to help them. Chen Luo saw that 4 boys were fighting with zombies, 1 boy fighting for all of them. The 3 boys ask Fang to run away, but Fang denies, saying that if they die, they all would die together. Chen Luo was impressed that even after Oolong got attacked by poisonous zombies, Fang didn't run away, leaving those 3. Suddenly Fang saw Che and asked for help saving them, as he knew you would definitely repay Chen Luo's kindness. Chen Luo asks Dharma to help them. Then, one by one, they introduced themselves. Firstly, Fang Lu introduced himself, as his ability was making his strength and physique stronger. The second boy told me that his name was Yang Xuan, and his ability was ice. The third boy introduced himself as Li Fei, and his ability was lightning. But compared to Damra, it was very low. The last boy introduced himself as Shu Lan, and his ability was sand. Fang Lu then told me that they were all comrades from the same security, and they came out in search of supplies but got into an encounter with poisonous zombies. Chen Luo then asks them about forming a team, as he would be the captain. Fang Lu agreed with Chen Luo about forming a team. Chen Luo then asks them to sit in the truck, and if they need to take something, they could go and take it, and if not, sit in the truck. The scene then shifted sometime later to Chen Luo's villa, where Chen Luo asked Fang Lu and others to temporarily live in his neighborhood house as it was empty. After they go, Mealing also praises Fang and the other boys for having the courage to fight. But Chen Luo asks Sudaju and Mealing not to guard down, as they first need to keep their eyes on them to be sure. After that, Chen Luo asks Mealing and Mealy to go to the 3rd floor to find a room and tells Sudaju and Mayu that they are going to live on the 2nd floor. Chen Luo asks Sudaju to come with him to check on his neighbor. When Chen Luo went there, he found that they were discussing Dharma, as they might not even defeat Dharma. Chen Luo coughs to let them know about him and asks them whether they know how to cook rice, and he gives them some food supplies. But Fang was so kind that he wasn't taking it because he had yet to repay Chen Luo's kindness in saving them. Chen Luo smiled and told them to take it, as now they were considered his teammates, so giving food was normal. Even Chen Luo asks Sudhaju to give them a communication device. Chen Luo then shares with them that they will stay there for a long time, so they should ensure their health and enjoy the day. The scene shifted to some time later, when Miling was getting angry at Chen Luo, which is why he brought her with him instead of Sudhaju, as she was worried about Mili being in a group with someone else. What if they encountered danger? Suddenly, Chen Luo feels someone's presence and asks Miling to hide as someone is coming. A girl came out of the car, seeing which Chen Luo was stunned as it was Mutian Jie. Chen Luo speaks up and wonders how he could have forgotten about her. Off. Miling surprisingly asks Chen Luo whether he knows that girl. Off. Chen Luo responds that she was the CEO and chief designer of a clothing design company, and she was quite infamous. Chen Luo then remembers that Mutian Ge was completely a psychopath, as after the apocalypse started, she, along with her staff, established a gathering place that only took female survivors. Chen Luo thought was good, but the problem was that Mutian Ge refused to let her underling fall in love, as upon getting caught, they got severely punished. Chen Luo also shares that Mutian Ge became the #1 lover due to her erotic desires. Lastly, Mutian Ge died also in saving Miling, after which Miling took the head place and let male survivors join. Chen Luo was happy thinking that Mutian Ge could be a good underling, especially as an underling of his own. He was smilingly staring at me at that time. Miling asks why he is looking at her. Suddenly they were found out by Mutian Ge and her team. A girl asks who was hiding there. When Chen Luo looked up, he remembered that the girl's name was Shu Yun, and she was a very strong ice ability user, but in her last life, she died early. Mutian Ge came to Miling, introduced herself, and also asked about Miling. The Mutian Ge shares that they were a team formed with all girls and asks Miling about joining their team. Chen Luo got furious hearing that Mutian was daring to recruit his underling. But for relief, Miling denies the offer, saying that she already had a team. Mutian Ge asks Miling whether Chen Luo is his boyfriend. Off, Chen Luo responds that it was none of her business, and then asks Miling to let go and check on others' progress. Mutian Ge was shocked, as she thought that Chen Luo was lustful by nature, yet he had the nerve to occupy such a beautiful girl. She decided to make Miling see Chen Luo's true color, so Mutian Ge told everyone that they were going to stay there for the night and started wondering about the best way to make Miling realize Chen Luo's true nature. The scene then shifted to night, when we saw Chen Luo and Mutian Ge talking with each other. Chen Luo says that he didn't think to spend a night like that chatting with each other, right? Off. Mutian said that she wanted to work with him on something. Chen Luo asks to be told. Mutian Ge then told her that they were going to a shopping mall in the east to take supplies, but according to her judgment, there would be zombies, so she needed him to accompany her, after which Chen Luo could take 30% of the supplies and they would take 70%. Hearing this, Chen Luo got tensed and wondered whether it wasn't the same mall where he and Millie encountered mutant zombies. As all supplies had been taken by him, what would Muti be going for? So Chen Luo denies, saying that he was a coward and didn't dare get there. Hearing this, Mutian Ge got furious and wondered why such a beauty would fall in love with a loser guy like Chen Luo. Actually, Mutian thought of exposing Chen Luo in front of Miling by doing something in the mall, but now she had no choice, so she thought of asking for help from a person. On the other hand, Chen Luo got that Mutian Ge was trying to eliminate him just because he was with Miling. So Chen Luo also got furious and decided that if she had a hostile intention against him, then there was no point left for him to think about her and leave, eliminating his threat. Chen Luo was then thinking about whom to send to get rid of Mutian Ge. He saw Dharma on the way, so he decided to send him. On the other side, Mutian Ge knocks at a place and calls a person named Feng. When Feng came out, he asked her not to call him brother. Mutian Ge got pissed off, but for Miling, she had to talk with Feng. Mutian Ge then told him that she had a favor to ask him, and a few minutes later, she explained everything. Lastly, she asks Feng to lure zombies to Chen Luo's place with his wind ability. Feng agreed with it, saying that it would be his honor to help CEO Mutian Ge remove trash like Chen Luo. Feng tried to put in some demand, but before he could say anything, Mutian offered him to join them after Chen Luo got eliminated. Feng agreed. Actually, Feng was getting ready to do that just for a girl named Wang Ling, as he had to be with her anyway. Feng also knew Sudhaju somehow and was thinking of searching for him at the mansion, as Sudhaju was a bodyguard there. In the next scene, Feng is luring zombies towards the mansion, but to his surprise, he was shocked to see that Sudhaju was also standing there with a dog and a boy. Dharma was going to attack, but Chen Luo asked him to wait. Feng asks Sudhaju why he is at the mansion. Feng then thought that just because Mutian Ge hadn't told him that his friend was inside, he couldn't let his friends get injured just for joining a girl's team. So Feng goes to lure those zombies away. Chen Luo, seeing Feng, remembers that he was also a friend of theirs, helping to lure zombies so they could take away some supplies. And it was bad that Feng got bitten off by so many zombies in his last life. Feng came back and asked for forgiveness for luring zombies. Off, Sudhaju responds that he knows Feng wouldn't do it purposely to harm him. Chen Luo there asks Feng whether Mutian-ge asked him to bring zombies to their mansion. Right? Hearing this, Feng was stunned and asked, how did he know? And soon realized that the trash guy she was talking about was Chen Luo. Chen Luo then asks if Feng knows anything else. Feng tensely responds that it was only him and her at that time, and she only said that she would come at a critical time. Suddenly, Chen Luo saw Mutian-ge coming with her teammates on a bus. Everyone looked at something else, and Chen Luo noticed that hearing the sound, a level 5 zombie became a mutant zombie and came towards them. From behind, Mutian-ge was coming, thinking that the zombies were lured by Feng. Actually, she came there to save Meiling, so she asked everyone to charge at zombies. Zombies also start fighting back, and surprisingly, they are using fireballs to attack them. The girls got scared, and Mutian-ge tensely asked everyone to get off the bus as the bus had a full tank in it. Mutian-ge then wonders why there are such strong zombies, but somehow she asks everyone to attack together. So Mutian-ge attacks with her sword, but Zombie dodges it and starts running towards Mutian-ge. Seeing this, she got scared, and without thinking, she dragged her comrade in front of herself as a shield. Chen Luo, seeing that, was stunned and decided that Mutian-ge deserved to die and also needed to get the mutant crystal. On the other hand, the girls were shocked to see Mutian-ge using their own people to block the zombie attack and weren't able to believe it. At that moment, Mutian-ge got stuck in a bad situation, but suddenly she thought of using Chen Luo to block the zombies. Mutian-ge was running towards Chen Luo, but to her surprise, Chen Luo furiously punched her so hard, asking whether it was right to use her own comrades as a shield. Mutian-ge was stunned seeing the power of Chen Luo, but now it was too late as she got attacked by the zombie. Shuyun asks the girls to run away, as she would buy time for them. Seeing this, Chen Luo was impressed by Shuyun and decided to save her, as this type of courage was very rare. So Chen Luo fights with that mutant zombie and slashes it in pieces in one go. Seeing this, everyone was shocked that the zombie got defeated in one slash only. Chen Luo asks Shuyun to quickly throw away the gas as if she were waiting for it to explode, and the moment she threw it away, the gas tank blasted into the air. Upon getting saved, she started crying that the fight was finally over. On the other hand, Chen Luo takes out the crystals from the zombie's head and approaches Shuyun, asking her to stop asking as he would help her get up. He also asks Shuyun to comfort her sisters as the dead also need to be buried. Off, Shuyun felt impressed and said thanks to Chen Luo for the help. Chen Luo then asks Shuyun what they all plan to do after this. Off, Shuyun realizes that Chen Luo is right, as they need a plan because survivors need to continue living. After some time, Shuyun came to Chen Luo's room and asked whether he was inside. Chen Luo hearing it got him happy as he was waiting for her, as it wasn't in vain to bait 50 tons of rice for contacting her. Actually, at the fighting place, he told Shuyun that if they all joined him, he could guarantee that they didn't need to worry about starving to death for a short time. So Shuyun asks for time to discuss it with her sister, so he could find him later for the reply. In the present, Shuyun told Chen Luo that their remaining 20 people wanted to join him. Chen Luo responds that to join, they must obey some of his rules. First, they all need to obey his orders all the time, and if someone didn't listen, he would be ruthless with them. Second, he didn't distinguish between men and women, so they all would get treated equally while fighting. In the third rule, Chen Luo asks everyone that if they want to find a partner, they have to find one within their team, as being an outsider isn't possible until they marry and join the team. They confusingly ask the reason, off which Chen Luo shared that he didn't want his men to get abducted, and most importantly, to prevent people with ill intentions from exploring girls' bodies. So, Shuyun and others got along with it. Chen Luo thanked everyone for joining and told them that he had a surprise for them. After some time, the girls were shocked to see so many supplies for them. Some even start sobbing in happiness. Yuanshen and the other boy felt that they were going to get a girlfriend soon, as there were only 7 men over 20+ girls. Feng there asks Chen Luo to let him join their team. Chen Luo then noted down everyone's ability and power, and lastly, he got that there were 6 with physical attributes, 4 with fire attributes, 2 with lighting attributes, 4 with ice attributes, 2 with earth attributes, and 1 with light and nature. Upon the light attribute, Chen Luo remembers that it was the girl that Feng liked, Wang Ling, and interprets that he would pay more attention to Wang and that Shuyun had the potential to be at a king rank. Chen Luo then told Fang Yu and Xu Lan that he would take the team for training, so until that time, they had to guard the home. If someone came, they could beat him, but if there were many people, they should wait for him to come. The scene then shifted to some time later, when everyone was going to the training place in the bus and truck. Actually, Chen Luo chose that place because it had roughly 300 to 400 zombies only, which he thought would be great for training. Chen Luo then orders Feng to lure some zombies and says that it shouldn't be more than 30 at once. When Feng lured the zombies, Su Dezhu physically asked people's permission to follow him to fight with zombies. Miling takes the command for magician users and asks them to attack, but while training, they were messing up, and some weren't able to attack, or some were fighting for their specific target. Some start crying while fighting. Seeing which, Chen Luo got tensed as the accuracy of the girls was so pure, but he was doing all that because of his boys. Otherwise, the girls would have been wiped till now. After 2 hours, the training was over, and Chen Luo praised everyone for their good work, despite being their first time. Chen Luo then orders everyone to go quickly and choose some suitable clothes for themselves. While everyone was picking clothes, Chen Luo secretly picked up a black cloth and hid it in his void. Miling saw that Chen Luo was stocking black clothes. At first she thought that Chen Luo had a weird fetish for liking to wear that type of clothing, but soon she denied it and wondered to whom Chen Luo was going to give it. Whether it was for Miling. Even though it was a guess, she got pissed off as the black color didn't suit her sister. A girl came and told every other girl that there were many supplies, so they could come and take a look. Everyone was happy to see the mineral water. But Shuyun asks everyone to wait and goes to ask Chen Luo about distribution. Off, Chen Luo told her to distribute 2 bottles each. Seeing all that, Millie wondered if it was so good for them to be with Chen Luo, as since she joined him, she never starved and always been protected by him. Actually, she was holding something in her heart and decided to share it with Chen Luo at night. The scene then switched to night, where Chen Luo was playing a game, and suddenly Millie came there. Seeing her, Chen Luo got dazzled up as it was midnight. So Millie was there to let him have an opportunity to do bad things with her. Millie then shares that she realizes that she is so lucky to have him. Chen Luo got confused about why she was saying things like that. Millie then shared that she had something to say that she had been holding in her heart for a long time. Seeing her blush, Chen Luo was interpreting the situation. But before he could think of anything, Millie directly asked whether he wanted to be her boyfriend or his girlfriend. Hearing that, he got happy and got so close, pushing her towards the bed, saying, "Of course, yes," as he had been waiting for that moment. Chen Luo then kissed her cheeks, which she was surprised and tensely shared that she wasn't ready yet for it. Chen Luo then shares that there wasn't any time for being ready, as they never know when they're going to die. And what if the day she was ready, he was already dead? He again kissed her forehead and asked, "Couldn't it be a pity for them?" Millie then realizes the situation and decides to do it, so he also holds Chen Luo in her hand, but Chen Luo noticed that Rice was still in the room, so Chen Luo throws her out of the room. Upon which Rice got furious and was scratching the door of the room. Miling came there and saw Rice in the living room and wondered why she wasn't with Chen Luo. Rice told Miling that Chen Luo was bullying Millie, and seeing Millie uncomfortable, he must have thought that she would help Millie, so Chen Luo threw her out. Hearing bullying, Miling wonders about the type of bullying Chen Luo is doing and is going to check. Dharma, seeing it, tried to stop her. But when Miling went to knock, he heard her sister's moan coming from inside. She understood that Millie and Chen Luo were having a romance, so she hesitated. If Millie wanted it, then it wouldn't be good to interfere, as it was something that would happen sooner or later. The next day, in the morning, Chen Luo asked Mayu to give team members 20 kilos of pig meat, as he was too happy. But Mayu asks about Millie, asking where she was and why she hadn't come down because she wakes up early in the morning. Off, Miling told me that it was all because of someone. Chen Luo got that Miling knew what happened last night. Mayu started wondering how Chen Luo was going to handle Miling. Chen Luo saw that the Rice was sitting quietly and angry and wasn't eating, so he asks her the reason. Rice responds that if Rice was angry, it meant the consequences were serious. Chen Luo laughs and asks how serious. Rice shares that she couldn't be coaxed with 1 dried fish, so Chen Luo offers him 10 and later 20 to make her up. On 20 dried fish, Rice was agreed upon and Chen Luo was forgiven for his work. He then asks her to sleep alone at night as she has matured, but deep down, Chen Luo says that because now he has family and he can't be with Rice. Then everyone was having dinner all together. While the dinner was going on, outside of Chen Luo's villa, a car came, smelling the smell of the food. A girl named Li Hui and a boy named Liming. After getting out of the car, Li Hui told Liming that she also wanted to eat, but Liming asked her to be patient, as first they needed to solve the water problem. Liming goes inside and asks whether they have water, which he could exchange for food. Chen Luo gets ready to exchange and asks Shuyun to bring 2 bottles of water. After exchanging, Liming asks Li Hui to let go, but Li Hui asks Chen Luo whether they were all in a team and did their team still accepts people. Chen Luo said that to join, they needed to prove that they were qualified, so for that, they had to find and kill 10 zombies and bring the crystal, and after coming back, they could find him for the joining process. Hearing this made me happy, as it's possible for them to do it. Chen Luo also gets ready to give them a chance because they were a family of brothers and sister and didn't look like trash. After they got out of the villa, Li Hui told them that she thought only they knew about Crystal, but it wasn't a secret anymore. Liming shares that there were many smart and talented people. Moreover, Chen Luo was feeding everyone meat, which wasn't easy. So Li Ming knows that Chen Luo asked them to kill 10 zombies, but they would kill 20 to show their worth. After 1 hour, they came back with the crystals. Chen Luo praises them for their work and asks about their abilities. Off which Li Ming introduced himself and his sister as Li Ming. The ability was physical attributes, and Li Hui, the ability was like a magician. Chen Luo asks what type of magician she is, so Li Hui shows her magic. Chen Luo, seeing it, was impressed as it had dark attributes, so when she leveled up, she could curse, summon, undead, or attack, and it would be a great help for the team. So Chen Luo asks Mayu to cook braised pork for Liming and Li Hui. At night, Chen Luo was waiting for Melito absorb all the crystals, after which he could do romance with her. So he asked Rice to go find Milian sleep with her, as he had some work to do. Rice told him that she was a good cat, so he could do his work and she would be quiet. On which Chen Luo furiously leaves the room. Rice was getting confused about why Chen Luo suddenly didn't want her at night. He then goes into Millie's room and romantically approaches her about doing it again for the night. But she hides herself in a blanket and responds that she couldn't do it as she was still in pain. So Chen Luo agreed to that and just hugged her for sleeping. Suddenly, he remembers her ability and asks her to try healing herself, which they could possibly do. Millie blushed, even being tensed due to the situation. The next morning, they were going towards someplace with the bus. On the bus, Chen Luo told everyone that their goal for the day was to collect supplies from the Yulin community in the south area, so everyone had to be careful as there would be so many zombies. He asks them not to panic, as first, they would use vehicles to clear the zombies following them. Upon reaching, there were so many zombies outside on the road, so Chen Luo asked element ability users to attack, and the rest would protect them. She also asks Feng to lure away the zombies. After that, Shuyun took charge of leading the attack, and they started fighting with zombies. Seeing that the accuracy was better this time, Chen Luo was happy. Sudaju and the other boys were putting stones on the other side to make a fence with that. Here Chen Luo was resting with Rice, and suddenly Rice mimicked the words of Mill. Hearing that, Chen Luo was stunned and asked where she heard those words. Rice told me that she secretly headed there to chat last night through the balcony. Off, Chen Luo asks her to be careful, as now she knows too much, so she could be killed by him. Hearing that, I got scared and tensed. After half an hour, when the outside gets cleared, Chen Luo asks everyone to take a weapon and prepare themselves to fight against zombies. Millie shares that she thinks it was a restaurant, so maybe there would be so many good things inside. Chen Luo agreed with her and told her that they were divided into 4 groups and didn't travel alone. Slowly, they fill the truck with rice, noodles, oil, and meat. A girl came and told Chen Luo that there was an unaffected supermarket. When Miling goes to the supermarket, she wants to look for something. Shuyun saw Miling doing something secretly, so she went to check and saw that Miling was putting protection with her. Seeing this, Shuyun wonders whether Miling had that kind of relationship with Chen Luo. Miling tried to make Shuyun understand that it was her misunderstanding, but before Miling could say anything, Shuyun left, saying that someone was calling her. After that incident, Miling was feeling very embarrassed, as if it weren't for Mill, she hadn't done it, and I was getting angry over Chen Luo. On the other hand, Chen Luo feels that someone is staring at him. When he looked up, he found that there were so many people hiding in the hotel. An aunt from above told Chen Luo that she knew he was a very kind boy and that she hadn't eaten watermelon, so could he provide some? Slowly, everyone starts asking for many things to be brought to them. Seeing this, Chen Luo got tensed, thinking that they were so shameless. Chen Luo responds that his legs were inconvenient as he couldn't climb the stairs, so he wouldn't give. Hearing this, everyone got angry and decided to go down and kill Chen Luo and others and take all the supplies, including the truck, with them. Someone asks them to call Chen Guang and his group, but a person named Lioli denies saying that Chen Guang is their enemy. They then ask Chen Luo to put down all the resources they had been snatching or stealing. Chen Luo responds that it wasn't their home, as if they were trying to give orders. Off! Lioli shouts that it was his brother's supermarket, and so it's his too. They even tried taking the truck, so Chen Luo asked them to get lost and not seek their deaths. But they didn't understand, and even Lioli goes close to Chen Luo, asking him to hit. As if Chen Luo hits him, then he would act like a dead person. Lioli was wondering if she was playing a victim card. Chen Luo got frustrated hearing it many times, so he slapped him, saying that he was going to satisfy Lioli's wish. Just from one slap, Lioli got killed, but his friends at the hotel thought of it as a drama and didn't realize that Lioli had died. Chen Luo laughs at their situation and then asks his comrades, what were they waiting for? And watching people who were trying to snatch their supplies. Just go and wipe them. Till now, the hotel person realizes that Lioli died, and so they try to scare Chen Luo and others by saying that they know magic. But the moment Fang and others started attacking, all of the hotel guys ran away. But soon they ran away. A boy came with two people's Chen Luo, seeing him, thought that he remembered that face and soon realized that it was Chen Guang. He hung with him when he was weak. Chen Luo Guang laughed and told them that those old craps were his neighbors, so he gave them a face, but never thought they would die by Chen Luo's hand. Chen Luo asks whether Chen Luo Guang wants to take revenge for the old crap. Chen Luo Guang asks Chen Luo not to misunderstand as they come to make friends and asks for a favor. Chen Luo asks, what type of help did Chen Guang want? Chen Luo Guang shares that there were many supplies in the neighborhood, but 2 days ago, a husky became a zombie. So when they were together, that husky hid, and when they were alone, that husky attacked, and as he could see, Chen Luo had so much manpower. So together, they could wipe that husky. Chen Luo asks about the reward, off which Chen Luo Guang shares that he would give 300 cats of rice and 5 barrels of water. Rice came to Chen Luo and asked him not to worry, as she could feel that they didn't have any hostile intentions. Chen Luo agreed and asked Chen Luo Guang to lead the way and Dharma to come with him. He also told his underlings to take care of the supplies. He would come back soon. Chen Guang was surprised and asked whether Chen Luo was really going alone. Off. Chen Luo asks whether Chen Luo Guang couldn't see the dog behind him. Chen Luo Guang noticed that Chen Luo was living a prosperous life and even had so many girls. Millie came to Chen Luo and asked if she could also come with him to help. Seeing which Chen Luo Guang feels pity for himself, for why was he still single, and Chen Luo has a dog, a cat, and even a wife. Then they all proceed further. And in a way, Chen Luo Guang asks Chen Luo if he has any way to deal with that husky zombie. Chen Luo responds that he is going to use a dog against a dog. Chen Luo Guang was shocked and asked if was Chen Luo really going to use the dog, as well as whether Chen Luo had any grudges against the dog for letting him go alone. Chen Luo asks Chen Luo Guang not to worry, as everything will be fine. Upon going further, they found a heavy smell of blood. So Dharma got those husky zombies in front of him, and Chen Luo asked Dharma to charge. Chen Luo used his speed to dodge the husky attacks and easily wiped that husky away with his lightning strike. Chen Luo Guang and his friends were stunned to see the speed. Even Chen Luo was impressed by Dharma, as Dharma learned new skills without him telling them. After Dharma defeats the husky, Chen Luo asks Chen Guang to hand over the resources he promised. Chen Guang was still stunned by the speed. Chen Luo Guang asks Chen Luo whether he would like to join forces with him, as his teammate has killed more than 10 zombies, and they even have food for more than half a month. But, as we all know, Chen Luo wants to be the leader. So Chen Luo responds to Chen Luo Guang that he didn't think they were all fit for him to join forces with, as he could easily wipe them out in one go. Off. Chen Luo Guang said that it was the reason he wanted to join with him, as only weak people want to join with powerful people. Chen Luo shared that they could join, but they all had to listen to him. Before Chen Luo Guang could reply, one of his comrades came and told him that his teammate Zhang Liang had been injured by a zombie that could shoot fireballs. Chen Luo Guang ran towards his teammate to see him. Chen Luo also asked Milito go with him to see the person. When Chen Luo reached Chen Luo Guang, Chen Luo asked if there was any way to save Liang. Chen Luo asks Millie to take care of the situation, and Millie, with her power, heals Liang. While going back, Chen Luo asks Chen Guang to consider his proposal. So Chen Luo Guang asks his comrades to ask Chen Luo to join forces, but Chen Luo demands that they all listen to him and think of him as a captain. One by one, everyone agreed to that demand, and after that, they went and told Chen Luo that they were all willing to listen to him. Chen Luo again shares that upon joining, they had to listen to him and fight zombies. Chen Luo then asks them, since they joined forces, whether it was okay for them to live at his place. Chen Guang and others agreed. The scene changed near Chen Luo's villa, where some boys were beating someone for not letting them enter the villa. Actually, they came to search the villa for supplies. After some time, Wei and others were approaching Chen Luo's villa, seeing which Shulan asks Fang what they should do as there are many people, and if they fight head-on, they are going to lose. Can Lu think of acting as if they couldn't see them, but Fang Yu denies it because they couldn't just see and get things robbed. Fang Yu gave them the idea that they should go and warn the survivors approaching the villa, and if it became the situation to fight or the survivors attacked them, they would run from there. But for their happiness, Zanlu saw that the bus of Chen Luo and others was coming back towards the villa, so they didn't need to be afraid. They go to face those Wei and others who came to their villa. On the other side, Chen Luo also noticed that there were so many vehicles. which meant so many survivors had come. But upon reaching the villa, he was surprised to see that the survivors had come to his entrance. When Chen Luo and others reached, there were so many girls. Seeing them, Chen Luo remembers that it was his last life enemies, Fang Wei and Chen Luo Jing. Harry, seeing the truck, asks Chen Luo and others to share the supplies with them. But surprisingly, she got slapped by Wei, asking who he was and why they shared with him the supply they obtained through hard work. Actually, Wei has eyes on the girls, so he asks for forgiveness from Chen Luo and others, and he asks his teammates to leave the villa and go back. Chen Luo shares that he remembers that Wei had a poison-type ability, which was a little dangerous for them. Rice tensely came to Chen Luo and told her that she felt weird and that others had hostile intentions towards her. On the other hand, Harry asks Wei if he got back without having anything. Wei slaps him again and tells him that it would be hard for them to take it head-on, so it would be better to attack at midnight. Harry was happily sharing that he had understood, but suddenly his happiness went in vain as he saw that his head had burst from some attack. So it's actually Chen Luo who attacked, and after that, he asks his comrades to wipe others. He shares with them that he knows they have hostile intentions, so leaving them and getting attacked first would be very naive of him. The scene then shifted to night, where Chen Luo was wondering about the next day, as some zombies would evolve to level 1, so he must get Chen Luo Guang and others to bring all the supplies back. Suddenly, someone knocked at his door. He thought that there was only Mealy and Mealing living on his floor, so it could be Mealy. But to his surprise, when Chen Luo opened the door, it was melting. Mealing, without saying anything, gave me a bag full of protection. Chen Luo is also shocked to see those, seeing which Mealing asks the reason for his shock, as she was doing that for Mealy when she was young and had time. But she also told Chen Luo that if he was ready to be a father, then he could forget about using protection. And I ran away from there. After which Chen Luo thinks that he shouldn't wait for Mealing's hard work, so he goes to Mealy's room to make romance. The next morning, everyone had a meeting together. Chen Luo tells everyone that he thinks they all feel that zombies have learned magic, off which everyone agrees. So Chen Luo told them that he was going to share some useful information. Chen Luo then shares that rank 1 zombies had the same abilities as them, and to deal with them, the best formation would be of 4 people, 2 combat types and 2 mage types, so they could fight head-on and could even run after encountering a group of zombies. He then told me that he was going to show some ways of dodging attacks, and for that, he asked Shu Yun and Mealing to attack him. So, both girls attacked together, but to everyone's surprise, he easily dodged both attacks. Chen Luo explains that it's impossible to avoid a spell after seeing it, so to avoid and dodge them, they had to predict the trajectory by seeing the gesture of the attacker. So with this trick, they could easily defeat rank 1 zombies. Mealing again asks Chen Luo to dodge her attack, but this time Chen Luo won't be able to dodge it because now Mealing has predicted his trajectory of dodging. Chen Luo praises her, and deep inside, he is convinced that she is really a fire fairy. So, Chen Luo also asks them not to take tension as zombies don't have wisdom to predict, and if someone encounters a zombie with wisdom, then he should run away from there. Chen Luo then orders them to practice by making groups, as they would leave after eating lunch. The scene shifted. In the evening, Chen Luo told everyone that they had to bring 3 rank 1 crystals, and the team that didn't complete would get the punishment of not getting dinner at night. While on the way, Chen Luo knows that the more zombies evolve, the more survivors slaughter each other. Suddenly Chen Luo and Mealy noticed that some guys were threatening a girl and her father. Seeing that Mealy told her that she was her classmate and, moreover, that she is her best friend, and asks Chen Luo whether they can do something. Chen Luo responds that if she were her best friend, then they would definitely help. Chen Luo just said Dharma's name, and he got it, and he went to attack the threateners. Seeing Dharma, those boys were happy as they were going to have dog meat for dinner, but to their surprise, they got a sneak attack by Mealing and Sudhaju. The threatener side also came, and they had a fight in which Yan Li got killed. So furiously, Chen Luo and others killed 3 to 4 guys who killed Yan Li. Suddenly the boss named Lu Yuan came and told Chen Luo that those who took the initiative had already died, and even Chen Luo wiped out one of his people. So Lu Yuan asks Chen Luo to end the matter. But Chen Luo denies, saying that it wasn't enough in revenge for Yan Li, as they all should die. Lu Yuan asks Chen Luo to be reasonable, but Chen Luo still denies it. Lu Yuan then shared that he had never seen someone as arrogant as Chen Luo before, and asked whether Chen Luo was sure to fight as they had killed zombies. So Chen Luo and his team went back before it was too late. At that time, Chen Luo thought that if he wanted to suppress his subordinates, he should show them his combat ability, as he had never fought since the new member's arrival. So Chen Luo asks everyone to go back, as he would fight alone. Hearing this, Lu Yuan was shocked, as Chen Luo wanted to get wiped by them. Chen Luo attacked Lu Yuan with his void sword. Lu Yuan got scared and was using his sand ability to fight back, but Chen Luo but was too late, as in one slash, Lu Yuan got wiped. Everyone else on the Lu Yuan team was shocked and scared. Chen Luo also got happy as Millie buffed him with her ability, and then Chen Luo started eliminating other people from Lu Yuan's team one by one. Chen Luoguang and others were stunned by Chen Luo's power. Even the new subordinate, Leng Chen Luo, Feng Chen Luo, was happy that he had not decided to fight with Chen Luo. Millie orders everyone to not leave any threats, so everyone also helps Chen Luo defeat the leftover people. After the fight is over, Chen Guang praises Chen Luo for his power and bravery. Chen Luo responds that it was nothing, as he feels pity for Yan Li's death, but his main motive was to train everyone by getting into fights. Moreover, no matter what, if anyone bullies his teammates, he's going to make them pay. Chen Luo then asks everyone to collect the resources, and because it'll soon be afternoon, whoever knows cooking should go back and cook. The scene then shifts to some time at Chen Luo's villa, where two boys named Miao Hui and Shida come searching for resources, and seeing Dharma, they get dazzled. They thought about having a good meal of dog meat for dinner by capturing Dharma. Shida, without waiting, went to attack Dharma, but Miao Hui stopped him, saying that they couldn't outrun that dog, so they had to lure the dog somehow. But look, what a crazy and cheap thought Miao Hui had. He thought of a plan, as he would shit out there because dogs like to eat shit. Really, which dog likes to eat shit, and how can he think of using shit as bait? It was ridiculous. Hearing this, Dharma's patience left as he was ignoring those guys, but the idea of using shit to lure him made him angry, so he used his striking on them to wipe them away. Seeing the lightning, both tried to run away, but it was too late for them. And lastly, they died. Chen Luo came there and asked Dharma what he was doing, that those guys were intruders. But Chen Luo got tense hearing the reply as Dharma responded that they were both shit. Chen Luo then wonders whether he should recruit more people if he encountered a team of 100. They would be eliminated by numbers because he couldn't save them. And with his current underlings, after 2 to 3 months, he didn't know how many would still be alive. Chen Luo then thought that he had so many resources that he could recruit some more members. He decided to make a recruitment notice outside of the villa. After some time, it shows that there was a hoarding in which recruitment news was written, and Chen Luoguang was sitting at that place to talk with the upcoming survivors. Some boys went from the car, saw the board stop, and started discussing. A boy named Liu Qi asks Wang Chao what he thinks. Wang Chao responds that they should join, but the problem is that only he and Liu Qi meet the requirements, and the rest are of level 1. So they decided to go and asked about whether they wanted to make their family members also join. When they ask Chen Luoguang responds with a sorry, as only blood-related family members were allowed, but a level 1 could also join by giving 3 level 1 crystals. Luigi came there and told them that he was a healer, so they could take it as an exception. Chen Luoguang was amazed as it was a rare power, so he told them that it was possible, but they had to listen to their captain's orders. So they went to Chen Luo, and Chen Guang told him that there were some people who wanted to get recruited, and one of them was a healer named Lui Qi. Hearing the name, Chen Luo recalls that he heard that name in his previous life. Lui Qi was a famous healer. Rice told Chen Luo that they didn't have any hostile intentions, so Chen Luo allowed them and asked Chen Luoguang to show them the rooms and let them settle down. At night, Chen Luo in his room was happy that he recruited a famous level 2 healer without doing anything, and so he felt so lucky. Chen Luo then takes out a crystal and sees it, thinking that if nothing bad happens, then he could reach level 5 easily. Actually, after becoming rank 5, he could easily fight with a large number of zombies without getting hurt, and even a level 1 zombie couldn't hurt him. And for his happiness, he reached rank 5 by absorbing that crystal's power. He was happy to become ranked 5 within a month, but he knows that he still has a long way to go, so without any opportunities, it would be difficult for him to grow. But soon he decided to think about it later, as first he had to celebrate his happiness with Mill, so he told Rice that he was going to spend time with Millie. Rice got frustrated as she had to sleep alone again. The next day, Chen Luo said that now they're going to have a collective action, and he also going to join them and aim for the vegetable market on Xingfu Road. He also orders Chen Luoguang to take his subordinates and Dharma King to guard the home, after which they leave the villa to reach the destination. On the way, Chen Luo shares that the market they were going to had a small cold storage, grain and oil store, and agricultural products, and due to the large flow of people, there would be so many zombies. So they had to act in groups to fight with zombies. He also told them that due to the use of spells together, it would be hard to avoid through anticipation and positioning, so the 4-person group theory wouldn't work, and therefore they had to act slowly. He then orders Jiang Feng to lure the zombies, and everyone has to wipe them one by one. Millie even begged Feng to help him. Feng then started luring zombies. At that time, Chen Luo shared that as long as everyone was 20 meters away from zombies, they wouldn't get hurt, so they also had to use it in the future whenever they encountered more zombies than now, but also be careful as if there were too many, then run. Otherwise, he wasn't responsible for their deaths. Everyone starts cleaning up the path to the vegetable market door. After an hour, Chen Luo reported that 100 zombies had cleared, so Chen Luo decided to go below and lure the zombies. Actually, Chen Luo remembers that in his previous life, he heard that the vegetable market had a sand-mutated zombie, and its combat ability was ranked 4-5. So he was wondering about the hiding location of that zombie. Suddenly, Chen Luo feels that something is being given to him at a very fast speed. When Chen Luo turned back and saw that, he got happy as he encountered that zombie so quickly. Chen Luo uses his void space, goes towards the backside of that zombie, and slashes out his head. After which, he takes out the crystal from inside. Everyone is stunned to see that Chen Luo killed that mutated zombie in one go, but to their surprise, Chen Luo starts running and also asks them to do the same. He was doing that because a horde of zombies was coming towards them. Chen Luo also orders them to prepare spells while running, turn back to attack with a rough aim, and then again start running. After some time, somehow they did it. They wiped out 200 zombies in very little time. They were interpreting that, being together, they could kill and wipe out any zombie type. But Chen Luo told them that the main premise was that they all had to keep up with the pace of zombie evolution. Everyone was still celebrating, so Chen Luo shouted at them to stop being stunned and take the supplies in the truck. On the other hand, Chen Luo thought the outage of cold storage lasted so long, which meant the meat inside would be smelly. But he was still fine as he had his void, so for the time being, he would store it, and later he could serve it as a fresh dye to his void. The scene then shifted to 2 hours later, when Chen Luo was heading back to the villa. But somehow, someone named Sulong saw their bus and came in front to stop them. Seeing that, Chen Luo asks that boy to get aside and not block the way. Suddenly, Chen Luo noticed that a boy was also coming with a bike towards them. When the boy took out the helmet, Chen Luo was surprised, as the boy's name was Xiao Hao Ran, and he would be known as an invincible iron fist in the future.